All right, here we are finishing up Lake St. Clair Bassmaster Elite Series, and we ended up in 37th place. Started out with 19.4, had a decent first day, caught 22.12 the second day, jumped up to 24th. I was just right there at the cut line, just inside the cut line, jumped up to 24th, then I caught 17 pounds on day number 3, slipped down to 37th place, but I caught one largemouth, 14 smallmouth, and everything that I weighed in was on one of these 2 rods right here. I caught one smallmouth and one largemouth on one rod. Everything else, including the majority of everything in practice, came on the old spinning wand and one particular bait in 3 different colors. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what those were here, and that's it right there. It was a drop shot, was the main deal, and I had the mini magic worm, Missile Baits mini magic worm, wacky rigged, just like that there. That was a number 1 Gamakatsu TGW Octopus. Now that stands for tournament grade wire, which is a lighter material. It's got the nano coating on it. Super slick. That is one bad dude of a hook. I mean, that hook is just phenomenal. Can't say enough about it. So I had just a normal length leader, 1/2 ounce drop shot weight, because the wacky rig falls a little bit slower. It's more resistance than something nose hooked. So I had a little heavier weight than I probably normally would have had. But then the kicker was, in practice I had rods with 6, 7, 8, and 10. It didn't matter. If you put it in front of those fish, they would bite it. So I was fishing a 10-pound leader most of the tournament. I caught a few. FC Sniper was the leader. I caught a few on 8 FC Sniper, but those I had about a 20 to 22 foot leader on, and then I had 15-pound Sunline D braid. They're not making that braid anymore. It's a Japanese domestic braid. They were thinking about bringing it over, but they actually have a new and improved version. I don't even have any of that yet, but it's the thing with D braid is made for spinning rod applications, and it's denser than normal fishing, more normal braid. So the line stays down. It doesn't want to float up in the water column and then go with the wind. It wants to go down. But they ended up making another version, a revised version, that's even better. So stay tuned. More information for that coming soon. It's even more dense, and it's supposed to be silky smooth. Some of the guys that fish with it love it. So I'm looking forward to transitioning into that for next year. But my old trusty, tried and true Cashin icon John Cruz drop shot rod, 7'4". It's got the little weight keeper down here. Sorry, the sun keeps kind of transitioning, so I hope the video comes out okay. But that was the main combo for the majority of my fish in practice and in the tournament. Just basically live scoping around. I'm gonna have to put my sunglasses on. Got the John Cruz sunglasses on there. Sorry, I'm putting those on, but transitioning, but most of that was live scoping, and based on the weather conditions, I was when in darker skies, cloudy skies early in the morning, I was either fishing green pumpkin money, as you can see this bag is pretty depleted, or I was fishing Ed's orange. Now a lot of the crawfish that were being spit up in the live well were very orange, a lot of orange in there. But the other colors, when the sun came out like it is right now and it was bright skies, I switched over to the watermelon violet. I love that color, and of course a lot of people know smallmouth love purple, so I think that purple tint in there with a very natural looking color, it seemed like I had a lot higher percentage of those fish that I would throw on with the watermelon violet when it was sunny would do great. And then so I have my little leader bag, my little Sunline leader bag. But I keep on my FC Sniper. Got the Tepa here. I didn't use that at this tournament, and I don't have any of the braid in here, but I have some of the other leaders that I use, the Mariboshi. I use that when I'm fishing around more cover, but here I wanted to go with something that was a little more supple, and I wanted something that was a little more just straight clear, and that's why I went with the FC Sniper. It is tried and true. I've caught a zillion fish on it, and no problems there. But the one other rod that I was using was the Cashin big bait rod. Now I was playing around with some different rods. I usually love the Chattergrass rod that's in the kayak series with that, but I was making such long casts, and especially in open water, making really long casts. I switched over to using this, and I've got the Daiwa Zillion TW HD is a 7.3-to-1 reel. That's what that is. And I was using, do I have it in here? Yeah. I was using a little lighter line, 16-pound Sunline Shooter was my line on here. So I was making really, really long casts. That was, I kind of went down. I normally fish 18, but I went down to 16, and I had my buddy, Mr. Jack Hammer on there, 3/8 ounce Clearwater shad, had the Missile Baits frosted purple spunk shad 4.5 on there. I wanted that bigger profile, and man, when you got it around them, I caught some decent ones in practice, but nothing over 4. Some 2.5 to 3.5 pounders in practice. The first day I weighed a 3.5 pounder on that setup right there. Then on day 3, I pulled up in a bay to make some adjustments on my boat. Couldn't do it out there in the waves, and it was in a little largemouth bay. I made a couple casts, caught it was a 2.33 largemouth. Ended up weighing that. It was my smallest fish, but I caught that one, and then I caught about 6 or 7 other ones in that same time period, but they were under 2 pounds. And so then I went back out and started catching more smallmouth. But that was it. It was really just a 1-2 punch for me in this tournament with those two right there. My line bag back in the boat here shortly, because we're going to be headed home, and then we got a couple weeks that we're going to be going to Champlain and St. Lawrence River back to back to finish up the year. So I didn't hurt myself in the points. I actually gained a couple places, and I gained a few points on that classic cut line. So I am about roughly 19 points out of the cut line, and need to jump up at least 20 places there. Top 20 would do it, just in the one event, and then make a little less work for me on the last event. So we're gonna go to Champlain and try to hammer down. Hopefully we can have a nice little 1-2 punch. I threw all kind of different stuff in practice, guys, and when I settled on these two, it was basically when I was fishing shallow, flat stuff, I would fish the chatterbait. When I was fishing offshore, I would fish this drop shot setup. I wanted something different than everybody else was throwing. Everybody else was throwing, like your shad-shaped worm stuff, flat worms, all stuff that's straight and just nose hooked. Really no action, no nothing to it. So I wanted something with a little different fall, a little different look. I really think it helped. Some of the fish, man, they'd eat that sucker before it even hit the bottom. Some of those, I don't think it mattered. I mean, you could throw a naked hook. Some of them actually ate the weight. You pull the weight out of their mouth, and then they'd eat the bait, and then you'd catch them. But, Lord, there wasn't enough of those. A lot of them you had to throw over there to them and coax them. Some of them you had to do a little rip. Some of them you had to just sit there and shake it. And then some of them, you just dead stick it. Yeah, so I tried different things to kind of, and then with the live scope, if you were able to keep an eye on them, you could really kind of play with that fish and see what it would react to. Sometimes if you shook it too much, the fish would kind of lose interest, and then you'd have to just stop it and hope they would come back. I had that happen one time. I was kind of shaking it, and I ripped it, and the fish kind of popped off, and so when it fell back down, I didn't move it. And then the fish slowly turned and came back, and I could see it all happen. It slowly came back, and I was just not moving it. And then all of a sudden I saw the fish turn. It, went up to the bait, and then it turned and went away. And when I did, I lifted up, he had it. And then I caught it. It was a good one. I think that happened on the first day. So it really cool with the live scope, man. I people that want to talk about the live scope, good, bad, or indifferent, man, it is a lot of fun. It is a different way we're catching fish, and I'm learning a lot more about smallmouth and how to make them react than I've ever known. And to me, that's one of the coolest factors about having that live scope on your boat. We're catching a lot of fish that hadn't been fished for in the past. It hadn't been fished for efficiently, I would say, in the past. but now we're able to not only see them where they are, and if it's not too rough out there, we can see how they react to the baits. So there we are. That's your tools, tips, tactics, and tricks from Lake St. Clair with the Bassmaster Elite Series. 37th place. As you can see, this is one of the canals on Lake St. Clair right here, but this is the bad dude right there that you need to get into some action right there. That's the Missile Baits Mini Magic Worm made by Robo Worm.